Hello, fellow riblets. It's Tom from Target Prime Rib. I'm here today for a special day. I actually have the infamous Dave Mack that's going to be that I'm going to be interviewing, and he's going to tell a little bit about his story, and hopefully we could do some questions and answers. I see we got a few people in the chats right now. So hello, Sandy. Hello, 22 Cute Cat. Cheryl Camp, George Goodenough, and CB Carmack. So thank you guys for coming on, and I'm going to bring Dave onto the screen right now. Oop, sorry about that. I did a double hit. So hey,
Uh,
Dave, how you doing?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on, Thomas. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you for being here. You don't know how much this means to me. So I think everybody else knows how much this means to me, but because I've been bragging about it for like the longest time. But So I saw your video the other day that you did.
Mm,
I mean, you've been through I mean, at 17 having a stroke and excuse me, and all that.
mm.
Um, I don't want to go too much into it because I'll let you tell whatever story you want to tell, whatever part of your story you want to get into. And just let you guys know, Dave is a really busy, so he actually has another interview he's going to be doing, probably going to be on video soon, I'm guessing. But so he only has a hard hour to work with us. So if you have any questions, ask in the chats, and I'll try my best to get it out there to Dave. And without further ado, Dave, why don't you
Mm.
tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. As you alluded to, I had a stroke when I was 17, and it's actually one of the things that if I could go back in time and have my time over again, I don't think I would change anything that happened because it kind of taught me a lot of lessons in life and helped me in a lot of ways in actuality. But yeah, I had a pretty kind of rough introduction to my adult years because of that. But um, following on from having the stroke at 17, I struggled with alcohol and I struggled with food for the next 20 odd years. And it got to a point in 2022 where the doctor told me, "You have an alcohol problem and you're pre diabetic." And I kind of knew the thing about the alcohol, and I wasn't overly shocked about the pre-diabetes either because of the way I ate. But hearing a doctor tell me those things was a bit shocking for me. So I wanted to try and deal with it myself rather than go the medication route that the doctor wanted to do. Um, so I took things into my own hands, and I I had known that Atkins and keto were very good for me because over 2 decades I'd done them on and off. And every time I'd done them, I'd had good results, like I'd lost weight, I'd felt better, I had more energy and that kind of thing. But one thing that stood out for me was I had self-control whenever I did those things. I was able to control my impulses much better. Um, and so I thought, well, if I want to address especially the alcohol, but both things, I could maybe go back on keto and see if that had an effect. So I went back on keto, and I did manage to stop drinking, and of course, as part of keto, you stop eating a lot of junk. The problem was that the veggies I was now incorporating into my diet had some negative effects. They were causing me to be in the bathroom pretty much after eating every meal, and that wasn't good. So I started doing a bit of searching. I thought it was meat at first, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just eating too much meat and that's the problem. But I started searching and found Ken Berry videos talking about how veggies are not necessarily the best thing. And it was kind of Ken Berry was admitting to I was not necessarily correct, talking about you need veggies on keto and all that kind of thing. Maybe you don't need them. And I thought, oh, so maybe it's the veggies that are the problem. And he singled out some vegetables that I was eating. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not married to the vegetables. Let's give them up for a week or so and see what happens. So I gave them up and the GI problems went away and keto became carnivore. And that's been more than 3 years now. And yeah, I feel better and it's almost like an aging backwards feeling.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, yeah. I think I started off with for the first doctor. I started off with Dr. Barry. Matter of fact, my mom actually used. I actually started watching like back before I was carnivore. I started watching Dr. Barry,
Mm.
and my mom used to watch him, and she must have had a really big crush on him because every time he would come on, every time she'd hear his voice, she would actually get up and get off the couch, and she'd be like, "Okay, I got to sit up for Dr. Barry," you know. So, which was kind of funny, you know. But she also liked Bella and her piano playing. So,
Mm,
but that was way back when Bella actually played the piano. Like every time she'd enter her videos, she'd always play a piano.
right.
And yeah, she doesn't do that anymore, I don't think. But you know, all, what's the old saying? All good things, you know. So,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, so it was like I got introduced to this really with Ken Berry, but then as soon as I watched those videos, then it was just like YouTube went, okay, you're obviously looking for carnivore content, so here you go. And then it was, Bella and Sean Baker and Anthony Chafee, and there was a guy doing interviews at the time called Joey Schwartz, and like his video, he was putting out one video every couple of days with a new interview, and that was great to kind of listen to someone's story about carnivore. And it's like, okay, so this is a normal thing. There are lots of people doing this, and that kind of helped me with my resolve. And after a while on carnivore, you don't feeling like, I really want to go back to those veggies. So yeah, it's been awesome.
so carnivore coach Edens, her real
Mm.
name's Juliet, asks, "Did you ever dream you'd be the Johnny Carson of YouTube or have so many fans?"
No. So that's an interesting question. So, the way my YouTube channel started is quite different to the way a lot of carnivores start their channel. So a lot of carnivores start their channel now as a way to have accountability, and a way to kind of memorialize the changes they're going through,
Right.
and so they basically day one they start carnivore, day one they put their first video up or something, and for me it wasn't like that. I was 4 months in before I started the channel, and I started it because I was angry. I was kind of like, you know what, I'm really irritated by the fact that every time I've been low carb throughout my life I've felt better, and every time I've been low carb the media and everyone around me has told me I'm doing the wrong thing and I'm going to kill myself. And I've gone zero carb this time and I'm feeling even better. And still, everyone wants to tell me I'm doing the wrong thing. And you know what? I just want to put my voice out there as well and tell people you've been lied to. You've got to stop putting the box stuff into your mouth, start eating real food. And that was how it came about, and I thought, I'm gonna get one or two viewers, and those will be pity views from family or friends, and it just took off. And when I started getting comments coming through saying, "Yeah, me too, that happened to me too," especially when I was talking about the stroke and the stroke symptoms improving, and because of that, that just spurred me to keep going and going further and further.
That's cool. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, and I'm glad she asked you that question because I was going to ask you like, what made you start doing your interviews and stuff like that. So I guess that was pretty much the answer. Yeah.
The interviews kinda, because I didn't start doing those initially. The
And
interviews
if I'm
start
not mistaken, Rick was your first interview, right? Rick Charger Mopar?
I
Is that
I
what I
had
hear?
2 around the same time. So, it
Oh,
was
okay. I
Rick
didn't know that.
and Amanda from Carnivorous Me.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, but basically, Rick was the first interview that went, like, ballistic and got lots of views, yeah, and, so the reason I started doing it was because I got, like, the email from Rick, and I felt like, "This is a really cool way to network in the carnivore community." Because I'm in Japan, and there's no carnivores here, I mean, or very, very, very few, and, it's like, so you feel really isolated. So I thought a great way to get involved in the community is just to network, maybe interview people, that kind of thing. And when Rick offered, it was like, cool. And so there was Rick and Amanda, and then I was like, let's get on a live stream with Bart K and that kind of thing. And it just kind of led from there, and I realized I liked listening to people's stories because it was good to listen to their stories, but it was also motivating for me. And so it kind of grew from there. And it grew from one interview every couple of days or once a week or something to one interview every day, and then now it's multiple interviews a day.
Okay. All right. So Dave, CB, yeah, Dave Mack. Yours, Dave Mack. CB Carmack asked the question, Dave, whatever happened to that pink hair vegan chick that kind of favored you, who used to appear on your channel? That was hilarious. So
Bellshine. Yeah,
Belshon.
Bellshine.
Yeah.
So the thing with Bellshine is that I kind of, on a whim, based on a comment that I received from someone, just created that character because I thought it would be funny. And I enjoyed kind of writing the scripts for Bellshine because, like, when I'd write something and it would make me kind of giggle, I thought, oh, well, people will like this because I'm laughing at what I've just written. And so, it's kind of a creative kind of thing for me to just add in. But I stopped doing it because I realized, like, there are people that really, really like it, and there are other people that really, really hate it.
Hmm.
And basically, I'd put those videos up, and they'd only get a couple of thousand views over a month or so, and I'd lose subscribers, and so yeah, I don't do it anymore.
I
So
mean, you're right. It was hilarious, but I can see with where you're coming from,
yeah,
with people not liking it. Because I mean, even if people like it, you still kind of don't want to offend anybody. So it's like sort of like you have to make that decision. So
right.
I get. So we got a lot more people that came in. So we have about 20 people in the chats right now,
Oh,
including
cool.
Keto Simple. Dustin is here.
G'day, Dustin. How you doing?
So, so and Josephine joined us, and
Hey, Josephine.
yeah, I'd have to like scroll and see if anybody else joined us. I think yeah. Actually, one person that joined us was Kat Herman, and she just mentioned that you were her first. I guess the first person that she did an interview with you. So you're, and that goes for me too. I mean, you were actually my first person to interview me. Believe it or not, I don't know if you
Well,
knew that or not. So,
Yeah,
and then right after you then was Carrie Mann that interviewed me.
yeah, it's kinda it's always it gives me this kinda nice feeling when I interview someone and then I start seeing them on other people's channels, and it's like, "Oh, wow, they came on my channel first." That was really cool.
Like I grabbed them first. Okay, let me just go back and see. Um,
I can see, George
so
is
I'm
in the
like,
chat too.
I'm reading the questions because I'm having a hard time putting it on the screen, so it's just
Right.
easier. Like I
No
said, once
worries.
Lewis gets here, he actually has power control to be able to put them on the screen.
Mm.
So, so I'm guessing he's not here. So, which he's probably busy. I mean, he does have work and stuff. So, Kat Herman's asking, any kangaroo hunting lately?
Any kangaroo hunting? No, no, no. You know, kangaroo, if you haven't had it, kangaroo is very, very tasty. But, yeah, in Japan, the kangaroos are pretty sparse, and they don't like you hunting for them in the sanctuaries here.
Oh, really? I heard. I mean, am I wrong about this? I heard that kangaroo is very lean.
Super lean.
Is that-
Yeah, like,
yeah, that's what I heard.
if you're eating kangaroo as a carnivore, you would have to eat it with a lot of butter or something, you know?
Or tallow or something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But if you were
Okay. So
if you
no
I
slow is just making this one. I'm sorry.
if you were going to choose between 2 Australian animals to eat, out of carnivore and emu, I would choose emu because it's more like steak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm. So no, I don't know if you ever heard of this guy, but no slow. His real name's Gary.
Mm.
He just made a joke. He says, "Is anyone else craving a Wendy's hamburger watching Dave and Thomas?" So I just
Nice.
thought I would put that out there.
Yeah. So on that, I've got a question because
Okay.
I'm not in the US at the moment, but I've noticed a lot of comments on my videos recently that places like McDonald's and Wendy's, they you can go in there and you can order just the patties,
Yeah.
right? But I've seen lots of comments recently that some of the stores are starting to not do that anymore. Like they won't allow you to order just the patties anymore. And I was
Um,
think,
yeah.
is that happening?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a car, so I
Mm.
don't really go to McDonald's that often. But within the past few months, like even a few months ago when I did go to McDonald's, I had to order the burger and just tell them don't put the bun on it. But I couldn't do it like I couldn't do like a la carte. Like I had to just
Right.
like take everything off. So I still had to pay for the whole burger.
Mm.
I just took off everything.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
I
I think
I
I believe that is happening in
I
most places.
feel that's a sign that carnivore is becoming more popular
Yeah.
because as a business, they would probably be looking at that and thinking, if more and more people keep coming in here and just ordering the patties, then we're not making very much money on that at all. There's no margin in this for us if we're just selling patties.
Right.
So let's stop doing that. So for me, although it's a negative thing, it feels like a positive thing that maybe carnivores, getting momentum.
Yeah. And Kat makes a good point that it is also indicated the cost of meat increasing. So she thinks that
Mm,
that might be a big reason for it too, which
right,
I
right.
think I agree with. And she's saying, are you seeing meat prices increase steadily in Japan?
It's basically the same, but I'm not particularly conscious about. the weight of things that I'm buying because it usually comes pre-sliced, pre-cut, something like that, so it'll be an approximate kind of it'll be like 180 grams or 350 grams of something, and so I'm not paying much attention. So there could be a little bit of shrinkflation going on, but I'm not conscious of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, that's like I was trying line diet for myself, but then the prices were starting to get a little bit too much for me.
Right,
So I started incorporating other meats, like like chicken every once in a while, and back to the eggs and bacon and stuff like that, because egg prices were actually going down, so that actually helped. And
right.
and I'm not really one with, like, I just whatever I can get. If it's like Dr. Barry says, if it's like, it's better than the standard diet. So
Right.
um, like, if I come across like an extra $100 or so, then I might get something that's like some more steaks or something like that. But other than that,
Right,
but
right.
but yeah, I just for that reason, because I'm like, okay, I want to eat a lot. I don't want to eat just like eat less because I can't afford it.
Right. I
But I mean, like you
I
can,
when I've tried kind of an all meat day as well, one of the things I feel for me personally, eggs are almost like butter or sorry, bread or rice would be to a person on a normal diet. It feels like this kind of base kind of
oh,
filling
okay,
kind of thing on the diet. So I feel like having eggs there just helps me kind of stick with it.
yeah. I mean, it kind of, okay. I get what you're saying. So, yeah, it just kind of helps you. It kind of gives you a little bit more um
Just kind of
substance, I
yeah,
guess you could say.
substance. Yeah, yeah. Because I feel like if I was just eating the meat on that meal, I'd probably be feeling a little bit hungrier sooner, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to eat at least 2 meals a day. And my eating window is about 4 to 6 hours
Right,
generally. So
right.
sometimes I might eat a third meal depending on how I feel.
Mm.
And I do occasionally eat. I'm trying to get off of cheese, but not very successfully, because it's sort of my dessert too. So it's like, so, um, but it can, but like, I don't
Cheese
really
is
buy
a
cheese to bring to the house. I just kind of like, if I go out there's a pizza place near me, so sometimes I might get some fresh mozzarella or something like that.
mm. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Cheese is a dangerous one for me because once I
yeah,
start, I can't stop.
yeah, it's hard for me too. Like, I can stop. Well, I think I mentioned, when I talked to you last. I think I mentioned about living above a chocolate shop, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so that gets a little tempting too. But I'm still able to go in there, get a cup of coffee, and the place I work at now is a convenience store, like a
Mm,
7-Eleven,
right.
and there's lots of candies and cookies and breads and all this stuff in there too. So, like, I can't seem to get away from the temptation. But what are you going to do?
But,
You need to work.
are you kind of somewhat switched off to that, like, emotionally? It's not such a like, you're not kinda shaking,
Yeah.
feeling like, "Oh, I've gotta eat that."
No, not really. Yeah. Every once in a while I might look at it and be like, like, oh, and then I like look at it again and like, yeah, it's probably just plastic or something like that, or it probably tastes horrible. So, like my birthday was just 2 days. Was just well, today's so it's just 3 days ago was my
Ah,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Thank you. And they actually have down at the down at the candy shop, they have what's called a cake slice Saturday. They have it once a month, and it's always the third Saturday of every month. So guess what? The third Saturday of September was on the 20th.
Mm.
So a lot of people were like, "Oh, you should have it." Like, it's you just like, I love this phrase. You deserve it.
Yeah.
Like, I deserve
You
to keep myself from
deserve to
losing any more
poison
toes.
yourself.
Yeah, I deserve to get sick. That's what I deserve. Okay. I'm sure they don't mean it that way, but still, you know. And it's just it's amazing how and I was able to control myself. I it just didn't it just I was like, like the cake's probably gonna be like it's gonna probably taste like stale,
The thing is as well, there's less than a second of enjoyment when you take a bite into something, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like the minute you start to swallow, that's it. The entertainment's gone. Then it's feeling bad from that point, you know?
yeah.
So it's kind of it's good when you're doing carnivore, and you start to recognize that, you know, it's like it's not really worth it.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
I totally agree. I totally agree. It like loses its charm.
mm,
Might have had its charm like before you had it, but I absolutely agree. The only thing I have to admit is what I did with for myself on my birthday is, and if anybody gets mad at me for this, I apologize. But I actually, for the first time, had a ribeye, and I was aiming to get a tomahawk steak, but I went to the local deli. There's an Italian deli that's about maybe like a 10-minute walk from me,
mm,
and so I walked there. I don't go there very often because it is pretty expensive, and I spent a lot of money. I spent about $35 for a pound and a half of the ribeye. So I thought that was pretty expensive for the ribeye. And I I liked it, but I didn't. It was like not really that. Um, it just didn't really appeal to my taste buds as much as I would have liked.
right.
You know,
Was it
and
like too fatty or something like
the
that?
fat tasted weird. The fat, it didn't taste like fat. It tasted more like and didn't taste like grizzle either. It was
Mm,
I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but I love steaks. Like one of my favorite steaks, maybe because it's cheap, but I like the chuck roast, the
right.
iron
Mm,
chuck roast steak. I don't know. It just to me, it just the meat tastes good, the fat tastes great. It melts right in your mouth. It just I do that, and then yeah, it causes me bathroom issues sometimes, but I actually add um, butter, cold butter to it. Like
oh,
every
okay.
bite.
Mm.
I do it Papa Carnivore style. So
Oh, g'day, Papa Carnivore.
yeah, and him and Rick are both in the chats,
G'day, Rick.
and yeah, Rick charge him Opar. He is here.
I see he
And
says iguana is very entertaining.
okay. I didn't know you had the YouTube on. So, and then we also have Marilda. Um, thank you, and thank you for the birthday wish. I appreciate that, and thank you for coming on here. I think it's the first time you've ever been here, if I'm not mistaken. And Carnivore Hercules is here as well. So we're getting a lot of
G'day.
people in here today.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
you're helping to grow my channel a little bit. So thank you, Dave.
So I want to know, Thomas, have you ever tried something like iguana? Have you ever?
Well, I've never had the chance to have iguana, but I'm sure if I ever was to go to Rick's house and he had iguana on the plate, I'm sure I would try it. Sure, you know.
What's the strangest kind of meat you've eaten, whether it's an organ meat or a different kind of animal?
Oh God, trying to think. I've had ostrich,
Okay.
ostrich burgers. There's a place actually in Philadelphia
Mm.
that actually it's called. You ever hear Joe Poon? Joe
No,
Poon's.
no.
Okay. He's been on he's been on TV shows like Jay Leno and Johnny, and
Right.
he does fusion cooking, and
Mm.
he actually fuses Spanish with well, he actually does other countries too, but his main thing is China, Chinese cuisine, and then he does other countries. And he made a really good. This is not really a strange dish, but he made a really good. This is before I went carnivore and keto paella.
Right.
But instead of using rice, he uses Chinese noodles.
Right.
So that was actually pretty good.
Mm.
But that's where I first had ostrich burgers. He had it as an appetizer, and then I'm trying to think if I had think yeah, I've had rattlesnake.
Oh, you've had rattlesnake.
Yeah, I've had rattlesnake,
What
and
did
then
that taste
I've had
like?
venison. Well, I was young, so it was several. It was like 20 years ago, but it it was kind of rubbery in my opinion, you know. But
I always
yeah,
think
like it
it's one
wasn't
of
really
those
like
things where
whoever
you
like the guy that cooked it didn't do that good of a job. I don't get. But
right.
yeah,
I
I mean
always think
that's probably the closest I had to reptile, or
mm, yeah, I always think it's kind of one of these things where it's it's hard to describe the taste. So it's one of those things where you just go, oh, it just tastes like chicken.
yeah, yeah,
You know, because that's I
every
had crocodile, and that's what that's my answer about crocodile. It's kind of feels like it kind of has the texture of fish, but it tastes like chicken. It's
right. Yeah,
yeah.
I actually felt that way when I first had fluke. I felt that fluke tasted a lot like chicken.
What's fluke?
It's a fish. It's like a
Ah, okay.
it's like a big fish that where we live. There's a lot of it in Point Pleasant. So
Mm,
it's
oh
you know
wow.
it's
Yeah.
my years ago when I was a kid, it was the first fish I ever ate that wasn't breaded with breadcrumbs.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go back in the chats real quickly and see if anybody asked any questions that I missed. And I don't see any QQQs, so good.
Okay.
I hate missing stuff. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. CB Carmack is saying, yeah, gator tastes like chicken bread with a catfish. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I guess
yeah.
alligator
So
and crocodile are pretty
that's probably the
similar.
strangest stuff I've ever had. I don't have really I kind of have a boring life, I guess you could say. So, but like I didn't
The
have picanha until I went to the Boston meetup. That was the first time having picanha.
I still haven't had that. Yeah, I'd like to try that one day. Yeah, I think the
I always
weirdest
make
thing
the
I've
joke.
ever eaten is raw horse.
Okay, I never had
Um,
that. I
yeah,
never had that. Or I
and
did, but I didn't know it.
I wouldn't recommend it. Oh no, I've had raw chicken, and I wouldn't recommend that either. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I read that there's actually a chicken, and no, this does not make me want to have it. Okay, so for anybody that says it in the chats, but there's a thing called the blue chicken, and that's supposed to be edible raw, if I'm not mistaken. I still would not want to chance it, but um, if that's true, that's okay. But I've seen people on videos actually eating raw chicken, which I'm like, ugh. you
Yeah,
know?
it gives you that when you see it on the plate, it's just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
really,
I mean, I've seen raw chicken, and it's like slimy,
yeah.
and it's just
There are no redeeming features, basically.
yeah. I mean, at
It's just
least
like
steak looks good when it's raw.
right.
I actually have eaten it several times. My steak, I pretty much just like I take it on the skillet because my air fryer broke. So, but before I would put it in the air fryer, put it in frozen for like 15 minutes, and it would actually come out just black and blue. You
Mm,
know, and now I just take a whole bunch of tallow,
mm,
or actually now I use lard because lard's a lot cheaper to me than tallow, and I'll just like let that heat up, let it sizzle, and then I take the steak and I just put it right on there, like 1.5 minutes one side, 1.5 minutes the other side, or
mm.
not even less depending on how I feel, and I just take it and put it on the plate.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Um, so regarding lard, what's your preference? Lard or tallow?
Well, like I said, if you're gonna go by price, I like the lard. But if you're going by, I think the tallow tastes a little bit better. Like I don't know, lard has an interesting smell. I mean, I'm not saying I hate the smell, but it just has a different smell to it than like
Mm,
to me. Ghee also has a different smell to it too, but it doesn't really affect me stomach wise, and I'm fine with it. But yeah, I got for the same amount of just to give you like when I bought beef tallow, I bought like a 4 pound bucket, and it was like
mm,
$40, and I actually bought it off of Emma Mann's channel. So I
right.
bought it off her thing. But then I decided to get it just at Walmart, and I'm looking at Walmart. It's like $40 for the tallow. But then I looked, and the lard was only $15 for the same size.
Right,
And I'm like,
right.
okay, So I asked a few people, like, is lard okay to have? I knew it wasn't really lion diet, but and I think Mitch was the one that said, like, yeah, no, lard's fine.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you like lard, if you like bacon grease, and lard's fine. So I'm like, okay, I like bacon grease, so I think I can tolerate that. So I
Yeah.
just, yeah,
I'm kinda
so
the same. I feel like I'd prefer tallow, but it's so hard to get in Japan,
yeah,
and it's pretty expensive, so I'm just like, ghee or lard. And I totally agree with you sorry, butter or lard. I totally agree with you about the ghee. It does have an odd smell.
right,
Yeah, and, just like, it's not bad, but it's just quite strong, and it's just like I felt like, yeah, I'll just have butter and I'm happy
yeah.
with butter."
Which makes me wonder if it's the clarification of it that makes it have that smell. Like
Mm,
the process that just gives a little bit of the odor. So
yeah.
Kat is asking, can you get grass-fed butter in Japan?
Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah, there's actually surprisingly a couple of brands of it in the supermarket. Um, there's one that's salted and one that's unsalted, and I just go for the unsalted one. But
Um,
it's expensive. Yeah,
yeah,
like,
I can
it's
imagine.
about equivalent to maybe $4 US for, like, a kinda standard block size like that.
Yeah, I just get the Walmart. Like I said, I'm kind of cheap, so I get the Walmart, which is just cream and salt basically, and it doesn't have any like bad ingredients to it. So I'm like, why not?
Mm.
It's like $7 for eight sticks. So
Mm.
that's a little
What I
pricey.
should do is actually get a Costco membership because there's a Costco very, very close to me, but
Oh, really?
I don't have a car. So, like, getting value out of the Costco membership would be really difficult if I'm traveling on the train.
Um, yeah, I have the same thing, and I I don't know how true it is. People are telling me it's not true, but every time I look up to order stuff online from Costco, or just to see what I could order, it's like always like you have to do like at least $400 worth of stuff,
Mm.
which is fine. I could probably figure out a way. I just would not shop. Normally I shop monthly, and obviously I'm going to shop more than monthly, and I need to make sure I have the room and everything.
Mm.
And I think I'd want to do Costco too. I need to get some really good knives because what's the point? Like individual steaks are going to cost way too much. I'd rather just get the whole
Right.
roast or whatever and cut it up.
Mm, mm.
But so Sandy is asking, how is your daughter?
She's really good. She's been back at school now for a couple of weeks after summer vacation. So yeah, she's getting back into the swing of things, but she's doing well. I'm gonna sneeze. I'll just mute myself.
No problem.
Oh, sorry about
Yeah, that was loud.
that.
Actually, Sandy asked, "How is your adorable daughter?" But I figured you already knew that your daughter was adorable, so I figured, um, so. And now we just got Aaron Booby Goats that just joined us, and Terry
G'day, Aaron.
Sue.
How you doing?
You got a lot, and I actually just became a member of Aaron's channel. So I don't know if she knew that or not, but I'm telling you now, Aaron, I just became a member. And we also got Lizzie and Danny and Boss.
Nice.
Kat's asking a lot of questions. So if I had a reward for people asking the most questions, Kat would actually win. Does Dave's daughter eat carnivore?
No, she doesn't. Yeah, it's very difficult culturally in Japan to eat carnivore because it kind of just anything that's cultural here is very hard to break out of if you're being raised in the system here, you know. And yeah, so if someone was eating carnivore, especially a kid, they're going to get pointed at and that kind of thing, and questioned and whatever, you know. So no, and you know, she's happy for me doing carnivore, and she's also happy for herself because it means she's got someone less, one less person she has to share candy with. So you know,
And if you don't mind me asking, I'm sorry if I don't know this, but how old's your daughter?
she's just turned 9.
Oh God. Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
it's a good age.
yeah.
Um, so okay.
But yeah, that's
So
kind of why
so
you don't
Broken
see a
Carnivore
lot
just
of.
joined.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just saying. Kelly, Broken Carnivore just joined as well. So hello,
Uh,
Kelly.
G'day, Kelly.
So do you recognize a lot of these names that are up here?
Oh yeah, yeah. I recognize a lot of them. Yeah. Some of them through just comments on my channel and being in live streams, and also from my Facebook group.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you just did an interview with George, didn't you? George Good Enough, not
Yeah,
too long ago.
I think that was interview number 5 with George. Yeah, he's been on.
So
I've been on a number of times.
have you ever thought that you would have done so many interviews, like almost 1,500?
No, uh, like when I look at that number, it's just it's crazy, especially when you think the if an interview goes for 45 minutes, let's say, and that's a typical amount of time that an interview goes for, even if there's only a 30-minute interview that comes out of it because there's editing down of stuff and whatever. But 45 minutes, and then when you add on to that, there's the editing time, which is probably about 1.5 times however long the interview was. And then, you know, just the all the follow-up things to do with that. And it's like, how I can't imagine going back to having 0 interviews and thinking to myself, "All right, I'm gonna do 1,300 interviews." It just feels like such a monumental task, but then it really kind of, you know, the mountain is formed by 1 grain of sand at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just it's been like that, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to admit, I started doing my videos because you're sort of an inspiration to it. Because I felt that if not that if you could do it, I could do it. It wasn't like that, but like what only way I think I could help with carnivore because I really don't know that much. I know what I know, and I know a lot more than I did when I met you like 9, 10 months ago. But I I can help people tell their story. And
Mm.
when I was in rehab, when all that stuff happened to me, the worst part of it was I was never able to tell what was going on. People would shut me up. And I wanted to be able to help people speak. and tell their story and everything like that, you know.
Mm.
So I mean, it's an ongoing process, and what I can't believe is I got a lot of great guests that are coming on, you know, and you know, I just did Russ Mitchell. I don't know if you
Mhm.
saw that or not, but I just did Russ Mitchell, and I'm going to be doing Jen Mann
Oh,
in
nice.
on my carniversary because my carniversary is actually January 1st.
Mm.
So I'm actually, you know, she's actually going to be on my channel, and I don't think she's done interviews with anybody. So you know, I'm honored that I think I'm going to be the first one that she actually does an interview with. You know,
That's
you know, now if I
awesome.
go any further than that, I don't know. I have nobody scheduled for after that, and you know, I put in the thing. I put the link to the cat to the be able to make an appointment for, you know, to be on my channel. So if anybody wants to be on my channel and interview or on Dave's channel, you could always, you know, either one, email us and we'll be more than happy to, you know. So Sandy just says, Dave, congratulations on 100,000. So deserved it. So I'm guessing she
Oh, thank
means
you.
100,000 viewers.
Yeah, the 100,000 subs, yeah. Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, George
Um,
is saying, "Crikey, Tom drops more names
I,
than
I
me."
just saw that. Well, George, I learned from the best. And Erin just said that she did 15,305 steps.
Oh, nice.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, and I was impressed with myself for doing almost 6,000 steps the other day. So
Wow.
and we got Coach Alyssa. She's on here. She's known as Miss E, and I think you've interviewed her as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm,
So, and I actually interviewed her. She was actually on my channel.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so this is pretty cool. I know our time is like we have about 13 minutes left. You
Mm,
know that you for you to be able to do your other interview. And no, I will not ask who the interview's with because I'm sure you want to have it be a surprise. Um, Retired Rick is here. I'm trying to
retired
think.
Rick.
Yeah, he has a pretty good. He does like fishing, so he has a pretty
Uh-huh.
good like. But I think he has another. Like I think he has two. That's the only thing I like. I can't do more than one YouTube channel. I know a lot of people actually will like make like because it doesn't seem to be carnivore, they make another YouTube channel or they make one because they became carnivore, you know.
Right,
I
right.
just, you know, like whatever you see on my channel, that's what you see. Whether it's going to be carnivore or not, it's my story. I don't really advertise I'm carnivore as much as I advertise that this is my journey, and
Right,
I just
right.
so happen to be carnivore. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've had a couple of YouTube channels before, and I find that if you have more than one, it's very hard to kind of
keep up.
focus your energy in
Yeah.
any which way. So yeah.
So, um, Kat, guess what? She has another question. What is your favorite part of your day? What brings you the most joy? Both of you can answer. It's hard
Mm.
for me.
Okay. So at risk of making making a controversial statement, the best time of the day for me is just after I've woken up and I'm sitting down and I have that first sip of coffee. And I just have a black coffee, and that first sip, it's kind of, I sound like a drug addict, but it's just like, that's just the best taste. The best, and it's just relaxing, and it's just, yeah, that's my favorite part of it. And it's quiet. You
Yeah,
just got
I
it's just you.
I would have to I would have to agree with that. You know, like I usually get up about 4:30, whether it's for work or whether it's for kills.
Mm,
And you know, it's easier for me just to have the same schedule every time. and I'll usually make myself a nice thing of fatty coffee.
Mm,
Usually just butter. I have a stick of butter, but sometimes I might add an egg yolk to it or bacon grease,
mm.
and which is pretty good. It's better than you would think, you know. And okay, so Amy Brisket
Mm.
Boomers is asking, "What are these shirts you've been wearing raw?"
Yeah, I feel like a good question, Amy. I think I'm probably coming off as if I'm promoting eating raw steak or something. It's actually a brand, and it just happens to be like recently they've been a bit cheaper on Amazon, so
Okay.
I've got more of them. But basically, it's a brand called G Star Raw. And I think in the past it was quite an international brand, but I think they went bankrupt and then they were kind of bought by a Japanese conglomerate or something, and that's why they're a bit cheaper here now, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually just bought at cost. I just bought my line of merch, to see, to just have something of mine that I can actually just wear,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
So, which is pretty cool, I mean, it's a slow start, but what are you going to do?
So I just got I just seen a comment there that's made me kind of giggle a little bit. Like Rick's favorite part of the day is that first bite of a big fat duck. And just the image that put into my head was Rick running around the garden trying to find a duck to just bite into. That yeah.
Yeah. I actually am picturing that too. So, thank you for that image. You just made a few people laugh at that one.
Nice.
So,
Just having
so
a look through to see if there's some questions.
are you going to any meetups or anything like that, anytime soon, or?
I would love to be, um, but, I'm not because it means I'd have to leave Japan to do it. So I would be I'd love to be going to, Tampa to Hack Your Health and then the meetups following that and that kind of thing, but I don't think that's on the cards just because it's so
Yeah.
expensive to get from here to the US. But I will be going to Meatstock in 2026,
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
and
I know exactly how you feel. I mean, I have to kind of be with the budget too, so
mm,
so that's.
hopefully I'll get to Australia in the next over the next, say, 6 months and maybe do a meetup there or something like that, but yeah.
Is there anybody that you've met in person that were like, oh my god, I met you in person type thing? Like
So many well,
that
so
really
many
wowed
people,
you,
sorry, around me.
like that really wowed you, that really like
Ah,
like the really.
yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, I was in Adelaide for the Carnivore Live in November last year, and I was one of the first people to arrive at that event, and I was sitting talking to the organizer, and then the elevator dings, and all these it was like, being in this dream where all these Hollywood stars start piling out of an elevator kind of thing, because it was like all the people I've been watching on YouTube, like the elevator dings and Anthony Chafee gets out, and then the elevator dings and Bella and Max get out, and like then Bart K comes out the elevator and all this kind of thing, and it was like, this is amazing. I can't believe this.
I know
Yeah.
you.
And so, yeah, those kind of things. And then in Melbourne in April, and it was the same kind of event. And then Dr. Kiltz was there, and Bella and Max again, and yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, um, Dr. Wiederman, that Diane Ladd. I met her. of course, I met Lewis. He actually was the one that was gracious enough to take me, like, drive me to Boston and stuff. So,
Mm.
uh, how can I forget Carrie Mann and Adam Lacey? I met them too.
Oh,
So,
yeah, and that's also how so I met them both in Adelaide, and that was awesome, and Adam was driving us around, and, yeah, that was really cool.
so all right. So, I actually have in the link, in my description. I have, your. I had to look and see exactly what I have perfectly, but I think I have your Facebook page, your Instagram, and your YouTube page.
Oh, thank you.
In my No problem. And so if you haven't seen Dave, and I don't know where you are at if you haven't seen Dave Mack on YouTube, at least one interview, then check him out. He has some pretty great interviews, and some really great stories that are out there. I mean, it shows how carnivore can help so many things, and so much information that comes out of it and everything like that. And that's really all we need. We just need to be able to tell our stories, and Abe Mack is like the maestro of that. And like, I agree, like he's like the Johnny Carson of the YouTube. So, I mean, who said that? It was, Juliet that said that. She's not way off. So I know, like, we have about 4 minutes, so I'm going to end the live now. And it was great having you on here, Dave. And just if you could just hold on for 2 seconds, we'll
Yeah.
we'll end it just together.
Thank
So,
you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
no problem. So, okay, everybody. So, we're ending it now. So you guys can go take your naps and stuff like that, or whatever you need to do. And just remember, live, love, heal. And I think Dave would actually say the same thing that I'm saying right now. For God's sakes, eat the meat.
Yes, eat the meat.